Audacity, can you make me one participant can share at a time? Advance. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. One participant can share at a time. Maybe live streams. Got it. Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Yes.
This is quite hello, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
But I cannot hear myself.
You're not supposed to hear yourself.
Okay, good. So that's it. Is this okay like this, or
It's perfect like this.
the light is it enough? I need more light a bit.
Your face shows. Maybe you can turn on the. Okay.
What about this? It's too much.
Yeah, it was too much. Now, yes, now it's okay.
Now it's okay.
Yes, now it's okay.
It's too much. It's
Too much.
disturbing.
Disturbing you. Okay.
You have that round light.
No.
No. Okay, let me check. This is working. Yeah, it's working. The mouse is working. All right, so let me put this off.
Cool.
It's already off. But it can't disturb me. Hi, Bunny, that's in our class every Monday again. Hi, Bunny is sending it to me in the Zoom. Come on, I have it. Hi, Bunny. Hi, Bunny is disturbing. What's he doing? Sending me the photo. I just saw that in the plan of priority, they forgot to put you as replacing me for the Monday. Please, we would need you to give this class 5 to 6:15.
5 to 6, not 6:15.
6:15 is
He stretches his
with
5 to 6.
quickness. Okay, enjoying this. Okay. And you. All right. So, up to
Are you
done.
connected?
Sure. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
I hope you're muted.
I'm not muted. You're
Hey, Father Gabriel.
Who be that?
See, Father Gabriel.
Who be this?
Alex.
Alex.
Okoduga.
Portugal, yeah.
Father,
Rascal.
long time.
The usual rascal. Alex, where are you?
Father, how are you? Long time.
I cannot see your picture. Where are you?
Why now? Why?
You are
Okay,
hiding.
I paused the video.
Oh, Alex. Where have you been? In Benin, eh? All the time.
When I'm in Lagos, I'm still in Lagos. Never moved
Okay.
from Lagos.
Okay.
Where are you, Father?
I'm in Lagos also in VI.
Ah,
Yeah.
oh, you don't come to White Sands at all.
Oh, again? Sorry?
I say you
You
don't
said-
come to White Sands at all again.
Oh, Saturday mornings, but not the last 2 weekends because I was in a workshop.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
okay. I go to White Sands for the recollection these days.
First or second Sunday?
Generally first, except if I miss first, I go to second like I did. I went to second yesterday.
Okay, good. I wasn't there.
And,
Fantastic.
Father, you are looking very well, Father. You are not aging at all, Father.
No. I have taken the Harry Potter portion for now. Okay, Alex, we are going to start in
Okay.
15 seconds.
Yeah. Yes,
I will,
Father.
I will, don't mind if you mute yourself
Yes, okay,
um,
Father.
and the others also, but I need your attention, not just my own. How do I put here? Only, all right, doesn't matter. Okay, gentlemen, we can start with Hail Mary and invoking the patrons of the work of Opus Dei with young people that have left the university already. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb, Jesus. Holy Mary,
Holy Mary, Mother of God,
pray for us
pray
sinners,
for us
now
sinners
and
and
at
the
the
hour
hour
of
of
our
our
death.
death.
Amen.
St. Paul,
Pray for us.
St. Gabriel,
Pray
pray.
for us.
So today we are going to see the topic number 37 of the old dispensation, which has become a second part of the topic number 33 in the new dispensation. Well, when I say dispensation, I refer to the topics as they appear in the web page of Opus Dei. So there, you go now to the summaries of Christian doctrine, and you will find only a handful of them translated into English. But very soon, all of them will show up in that page. The old ones, if you still want to consult them, are in the web page, but not in this first page where one looks for them. Somewhere they're hidden, but available anyways. And is about the 8th commandment. I understand Father Bonnie finished last week with the 7th commandment. So this is introduced with a picture of a painting that was exhibited in New York at the beginning of the 20th century. And the artist wrote on the canvas, Ceci n'est pas une pipe. I don't know how to pronounce French, but even though 1/4 of my blood is French, but I don't know French. I guess you know better. This is not a pipe, wrote the artist. And people were discussing and arguing, and this is a pipe. It looks like a pipe. It's a pipe, no doubt. It's not a pipe, said the artist. At the end, he came to the fore to clarify this is not a pipe, as I wrote. This looks like a pipe, but it's just oil on canvas. I have painted it on a piece of canvas. It's not a pipe. You cannot take it and smoke tobacco. So is it a lie? It's not a lie, but it looks like a lie. That is not a pipe when it is. So this eighth commandment rather, is on, now, hang on, this guy is not obeying my PowerPoint presentation, all right? Aha. The eighth commandment commands us, or forbids rather, to distort the truth in one's relations with our neighbors. So to distort the truth before others is forbidden by the commandment. Christians have also the duty to bear witness to the truth, which is Jesus Christ, and to acknowledge him and his teachings before others, not hiding one's faith in him, in the truth, because he is the truth and the way and the life. We shall see more in detail of these main two ideas. We are going to divide the topic into 5 sections. The first is on living in the truth. Second, on how truth ought to be spoken with charity. The third section is on the need to bear witness to the truth. The fourth, we'll study what sins can be committed against the truth, against this 8th commandment. And finally, the need to respect the privacy of others, the good name of others. So, straight into living in the truth. The Second Vatican Council, that declaration on religious freedom, declared in number 2 that it is in accordance with the dignity of all men, because they are persons both to be impelled by their human nature and bound by a moral obligation to seek the truth. Man has been forged, created by God, and embedded in his nature to seek the truth. Every man has, besides that, a moral obligation. So on 2 accounts, we ought to always seek the truth, especially religious truth. And once found the truth, that might look like the truth and may not be the truth, because somebody might say, I found the truth, and he's believing in Buddha with all his might. Is wrong, but thinks that's the truth. Once the truth has been found, man has to adhere to it and direct one's whole life according to the demands of the truth. So as you see, the Dignitatis Humanae opens the religious freedom to every honest search for the truth. But if that's the good news, the bad news is that the readiness of man to know the truth and to express it by words and by deeds has been distorted by sin, as also the declaration Dignitatis Humanae explains. Distorted by sin, original and personal sins. What sin has done to us is to wound our human nature and inflict a blow on the intellect, tinting it with ignorance, and introducing malice in the will of man. So with an intellect full of ignorance and a will weak with malice, man is in trouble. Man has, as a consequence, sort of diminished his love for the truth. We are prone to deceive one another, let's face it. Sometimes out of selfishness, sometimes out of self-interest, always putting ones in the center rather than the truth. However, with the grace of Christ, we Christians can live a life governed by truth. We can live in the truth, as the title of the section goes. Live in the truth. Live a life governed by truth. And the virtue that helps us do this, that disposes us to always speak the truth, is called either truthfulness or simply sincerity. Sometimes is called candor. And this is a virtue of also called veracity, from veritas, which is Latin for truth. This virtue has three basic aspects. One is sincerity with oneself, as you know, sincerity with others, and sincerity with God. Sincerity with oneself involves recognizing the truth about one's own behavior, accepting both internally and externally. Internally, our intentions, our thoughts, our feelings, our desires, externally, our actions, without fear of facing the whole truth, not hiding part of it to escape the consequences, without shutting down our eyes to reality. For that, it's very important to take care of the examination of conscience, not only at night, but also in the weekly circle or in the monthly recollection or in the annual retreat, where periods of examination are especially intense. But also on a regular basis, the night examination before going to bed, or in a prudent time when we are still awake, because there are people who go to bed so late that they are so tired that they are unable to look inside to examine their conscience because they are so tired. They sit down and fall asleep. Anyhow, sincerity with others, because living together with other people would be impossible if they would not trust one another. If people were not to speak or act truthfully, life in society would be impossible. For example, when people do not respect contracts or agreements in general, or when people do not keep their word, life in society, and much more in a family, in a smaller setting, when people live under the same roof or in the same compound, it would be impossible. One needs to know that his word given is the word of a Christian, and therefore it's Christ who has put his word ahead and said, I will do this. And unless it's impossible, one does it. No, I forgot. Oh, no, I didn't remember. Or I will do it tomorrow. Wait. One has given his word. One need not swear that I will stick to my word, because already the word of a Christian is sacred. Anyways, the third aspect of this virtue is sincerity with God. God sees everything that happens with us in our mind and our heart, in our actions, but nevertheless wants us, as children of his that we are, to be sincere with him. Saint Maria, in Christ is passing by, wrote in the number 64 these words that help us to be sincere with God. He wrote, a son of God behaves as a son with the Lord. His behavior is not obsequious or servile or formally reverential or merely courteous, but as a son that he is before the Lord, is full of sincerity and trust. God is not scandalized by men. Most time, or many times, we don't say the truth for fear of scandalizing people, or people realizing that we are worse than we are, or that we look rather. No, God is not scandalized by men. God does not get tired of our lack of fidelity. Our Father in heaven, kept writing St. Jose Maria, pardons any offense when his son returns once again to him, when he repents and asks for pardon. Our Lord is our Father to the point of foreseeing our need to be pardoned and comes toward us, opening his arms with his grace. End of quotation. God is our Father. And we have to talk to him, knowing that we are not just servants or acquaintances, we are sons or daughters. Truth and charity. Charity, well, perhaps this belongs to the previous chapter. Anyways, sincerity in the sacrament of confession, penance, reconciliation, and in spiritual direction, either with the priest or with a layman, are extraordinarily effective means for growing in interior life, growing in simplicity, in humility, and in many other virtues. But we have to be sincere. We know that if we are not sincere with the priest in confession, we are not sincere with Jesus. Which in this graphic representation here is like listening behind the priest. In fact, Jesus, the priest is Jesus at that moment. This is a great mystery, but let's not forget it. The priest is acting in persona Christi, in the person of Christ. So when he said, I absolve you, is Jesus who absolves us from our sins. So there is no point in hiding anything from him. We'll be hiding it from Jesus, which is not wrong. It's wrong and makes invalid the whole thing. All right. To be sincere is essential in order to persevere in following Jesus Christ. Because as he taught, I am the life and the way and the truth with capital T. You can read it and you know it by heart in the chapter 15 of St. John Gospel, verse 6. So truth and charity, Holy Scriptures, just go to the letter to the Ephesians, teaches us to speak the truth with charity. Veritatis facientes in caritate. Even, I think, is Pope Benedict XVI who adopted this motto in Latin, Veritatis facientes in caritate, as the motto for his coat of arms as Archbishop in Germany, and then as Pope, to speak the truth with charity. Like all virtues, sincerity must be lived out of love for God and for men, with refinement, with understanding. Charity comes first. The truth ought to be conveyed with love. And a beautiful manifestation of this is the fraternal correction, which you know perfectly is a gospel practice taught by Jesus himself, of telling someone of a mistake he has made or of a defect that he or she has, so that they can correct it. It is a real manifestation of love for the truth and for the person whom we want to be better and be closer to sanctity. And sometimes, depending on the gravity of the mistake or of the defect, can be a serious duty for us to correct others. With refinement, probably even consulting with somebody else, the director of the center or a close relative, just to try to be objective in never correcting the intention, which we don't know. We cannot go to somebody and say, my darling, you have acted with the wrong intention. How do you know? You don't know. You can only judge the actions that can be seen with eyes. Huh? Nobody knows the intentions but God. So, well, in order to be objective, oftentimes it's good to ask somebody. Jesus said, so go and correct your brother. If he doesn't listen to you, bring another person. If doesn't listen to the two of you, go to the authority. And if he doesn't listen to the authority and doesn't amend his ways, let him get out of the church. If it is so bad, it's so bad. I mean, it's not that he doesn't brush his teeth and smells when he talks. That's not a reason to expel somebody from the church. But, you know, the normal thing is that one person is enough to check, to correct. Anyways, you know how to do it very well. Now, the need to bear witness to the truth. The Catechism explains that witness is an act of justice that establishes the truth or makes it known. Establishes the truth, or if you are from Onisha, you will say establishes the truth or makes it known. Christians have the duty of bearing witness to the truth with capital T, which is Christ, and to acknowledge him before men. If you do not acknowledge me before men, I will not acknowledge you before my Father in heaven, Jesus tells us. So to deny Jesus in front of others, I don't know him, like Peter did that night of the Holy Thursday. Jesus will not acknowledge us in heaven. Knock, knock, knock. Open to us, Lord, Lord. I don't know you, but we have eaten with you. We have you have talked to us. You preached in our synagogues and our churches. I don't know you, evildoers. Get out of here. All right, this is Jesus by Hoffman in the temple. This painting was finished in 1881 and is kept in Dresden, Germany, somewhere. Jesus, at the age of 12, talking with the doctors in the temple. They were amazed at his questions and his answers, because he is the truth. He not only knows the scriptures, he has written them. So no wonder he answered very well all the questions and put pertinent questions to the guys in charge of studying the scriptures. Martyrdom is the supreme witness given to the truth of faith. And as the Catechism explains, it means bearing witness even unto death. The martyr bears witness to Christ who died and rose from the dead, to whom he is united, the martyr, by charity. The impressive are the prayers at Mass when celebrating the memorial of any martyr, the Eucharistic, the preface, or the prayers of the saints. Fantastic. They are very encouraging. This painting on the walls of the Sixtine Chapel in the Vatican Palace, where the popes are chosen, where the conclave of cardinals takes place to elect a new pope. The walls, this particular one, is a detail of the final judgment by Christ at the end of time, when all the people are called to judgment. And here in this section of the huge fresco I have chosen for this slide, you have saints. For example, St. Bartholomew is here with the skin in his hand down here, because he was skinned like a goat, alive. Or you have St. Peter with the keys of the church here in his hands. He's not holding the cross, but somebody else down here is holding the cross where St. Peter was killed. And there are many other details in these walls showing how different martyrs gave their lives for Christ. Anyways, not everybody is called to be a martyr. Eh? Most Christians are not called to this extreme expression of love for God. But nevertheless, all, even though not called to martyrdom, must manifest the truth of God and of what God has revealed, even at the cost of losing their prestige or even their social position, their work, their jobs, their position in society. At times, it has cost Christians of all times. Even, you know it by heart, in England, up to not many decades ago, to find a job for a Catholic was not easy. Anglicans made it such that no Catholics will reach high positions in government or that has changed things, thanks to God. But since the times of Thomas More and the birth of Anglicanism, separated from the Catholic Church, the Catholics were ostracized. Well, many Catholics prefer not to climb the ladder in society, but stick to their faith, which are kind of martyrdom of every day, than rather give up. Sometimes it demands to perform, with the help of supernatural fortitude, heroic acts in defending the truth. Just take as an example what we are talking here about Thomas More, though he ended up being martyred, killed for his faith. But before that, for years, or at least for many months, his life was made impossible. Anyways, Pope Francis, in his Evangelii Gaudium, he wrote that some of the sins against truthfulness, against veracity, in his document, are pointed out as examples of attitudes that prevent a convincing and attractive evangelization. So he says that many people have not come to the faith, have not been evangelized because of unfortunate sins against the truth that Catholics, Christians have committed around the world in history. No, we are called to be truthful. And the sins or offenses against the truth are studied here now. First, obviously, a lie, which with St. Augustine, the Catechism says that consists in speaking a falsehood with the intention of deceiving. Speaking a falsehood with the intention of deceiving. That's a lie. If you keep it in your mind and you don't speak it, it's not a lie. But you can also speak falsely with your actions. They ask you for the truth and you say no with your head, even though it's yes. You are speaking with actions, not with words. But anyhow, to convey a falsehood with the intention of deceiving, that is a lie, says St. Augustine. And the Lord made sure he denounced lying as the work of the devil. Take the Gospel of John, chapter 8. You, referring to the Pharisees, you are of your father the devil. He says there is no truth in him. When he lies, the devil, he speaks according to his own nature, for he is a liar and the father of lies. Wow. This picture down here is taken from the movie The Passion of the Christ by Mel Gibson. Jesus before the Sanhedrin, that accused him falsely by false witnesses of wanting to destroy the temple and wanting to destroy Israel and what have you. Well. Now, how do we know whether a lie is a serious matter or not? The gravity of a lie, how do we measure it? We have to look at three things. First, the nature of the truth it deforms. It's not the same to say that, I don't know, that I'm not at home when I am, and somebody calling, are you at home? I want to go and see you. And you are indisposed to see anybody, and you say, no, I'm not. But it's a lie, but it's not the same as saying that you have a document that is required for you to get a job in government and become a minister for works when you don't have the document. Or you say you have white results and you never went to school. But that type of truth or lie is obviously not the same as saying I'm not at home. So the nature of the truth matters. The nature of the truth deforms by the lie. Also, one has to look at the intentions of the person who lies. Depending on the intention, the lie might be more serious or less serious. And also at the consequences of the lie, the harm caused to the people, to other people. Because I don't know, a lie in a beer parlor is not the same as a lie in court. One can continue drinking his beer and the other will go to jail if you have lied about what he did not do. You get? So there are things to consider before calling a lie a mortal sin. It's not always a mortal sin. These Pentecostals like to say a lie is a lie, therefore doesn't matter, it's a lie. But well, there are lies that take you to hell and others that only to purgatory. So it's not the same. Anyways, it can be a mortal sin, nevertheless. When it does grave injury to the virtues of justice and charity. When these two virtues are gravely injured by a lie, the sin can be mortal. This is a picture of a painting of Jesus' trial on Holy Thursday. Well, certainly it was calling him all those things. Look, at the end, it's the truth that took Jesus to the cross, that he declared, I'm the Son of God. And they say, cannot be, crucify him. But now, when a lie is made publicly, it takes on a particular gravity. Any statement contrary to the truth in public is more serious than privately. And when it is done in court, then it's not ordinary lie anymore. It becomes false witness. When one lie in court, it's called false witness. And when it is under oath, I swear that by the Bible, and you lie, no, you don't lie, somebody lies, then it's called perjury. That's how the Catechism puts it. False witness is if it is in court, and perjury if it is under oath. Many politicians are in trouble when they get to office and they swear that they will work for the country, and the next thing they do is to work for themselves. That is a kind of perjury. Anyways, let's not enter that one. The right to honor and to a good name, a good reputation, either one's own or others, is something more precious than riches for all of us. The good name, the right to our honor, is at times even of greater importance for the life of people and families than riches. And even in society in general, one's name has been soiled, one is lost. He cannot access to jobs, people will ostracize him, neighbors will look down on him, what have you. We have the right and to sin against the good reputation of others can be done in different ways. Let's see. A and B. Rush judgment and defamation. Rush judgment or rash judgment arises when, without any sufficient grounds, one assumes the truth of another's moral fault, but in his mind. For example, judging without being certain that someone has acted with evil intention, or even attributing faults to somebody who does not have the fault. Judge and you will not be judged, says the Lord. Condemn not, and you will not be condemned. So rash judgment is a sin, but it remains in the mind of the sinner. Therefore, he has to amend his thinking, but it's a kind of sin that do not demand reparation because nothing has come out. Now, when it does not remain in one's mind, but it is expressed outside, we call it defamation. Defame, to remove the fame of somebody, the good name of somebody. Any unjust act offending another's reputation is a sin and can be committed in two ways: by detraction or slander, or by calumny. Let's see first detraction. It's important to notice that the first way of offending somebody's reputation is by disclosing to others somebody's real faults or real defects, but without having any valid reason to disclose them. When it is done behind the person's back, we call it gossiping. But anyways, whether in the person's back or with the person present, the person is in a way present when you write in a newspaper or an internet, knowing that the person has access to that information. Anyways, detraction or slander is to disclose people's real faults, real defects, without any reason to disclose them. It's different, for example, if you are in a sitting in school board, secondary school board of management, and you need to examine the conduct of a boy or a girl, and then you put forward the facts, real facts of what the student did wrongly. And that's not detraction, because there are reasons to talk about the matter there. It's an educational process. Okay, but somebody must mute himself. The second way of defamation is calumny, which consists, explains the Catechism, in attributing to someone false misdeeds, or faults, or defects. False, not real ones, but false. This has a double malice, because it is a sin against truthfulness and against justice. Against truthfulness, because it's a false attribution, is attribute somebody's false sins that he has not committed, or defect that he doesn't have. This is very, very common, unfortunately, in the press, and much more in this when raiding for campaign to have a position, not only government, as we are facing in February, but even office, in your company. Anyways, the greater the calumny and the more widespread it is, the more serious the calumny can be. It's not the same to talk about somebody, to calumniate somebody in your dining room than in a blog, in internet, or in a newspaper, or in the radio. And if the calumny is about a big issue, it's not the same as then. So it depends. The gravity of the calumny depends on these two conditions: the gravity of the calumny itself and how widespread it goes. The more people it reaches, the more serious the sin is, and the more difficult to rectify. Oh, well, all right. So, rash judgment and defamation. In turn, defamation can be detraction or slander or gossiping, and calumny. Detraction is disclosing real faults without a reason. Calumny instead is disclosing false misdeed, obviously without any reason. Okay. Now, loquacity or carelessness in speech is also to be avoided at all costs, because easily it leads to lies, to inaccurate assessments, or unjust remarks, to exaggerations, or sometimes even to calumnies. One has to be very careful with the tongue. Saint Judas has serious advice in his letter for those who use the tongue as a sword. These offenses are nowadays are frequently committed in the media, sins against the truth and against the good reputation of others. Therefore, one needs to read the information in newspapers, magazines, listen to TV bulletins, and with a pinch of salt, or better said, with a healthy critical spirit. Not because it's written in a newspaper is true. On the contrary, rather, hardly ever, because it's a newspaper is truth. False news, false news, false news. You remember how many times this gentleman complained about fake news, fake news, fake news. The former president of the United States. Well, unfortunately, it's true. Now, one cannot read the media with a credulous attitude, because, as I say, it can lead to form false judgments, or to disseminate by sharing, I like, and put crosses, heart, ping, in Instagram. When you like something, you press the heart, I like it. And everybody knows that you like it. Your friends say, hey, so-and-so like this, let's see what it is. Or you share you like in Facebook, or you share in WhatsApp. Be careful, though. You have to verify the content. You cannot disseminate anything just because somebody said so. Right. Now, the mass media, especially, the means of social communication, but especially the media that reaches masses of people, can give rise, says the Catechism, to a certain passivity among users, making them less than vigilant consumers of what is said or shown in the screens. So, hey, users, says Catechism of the Catholic Church 2496, users should practice moderation and discipline in the approach to the mass media. They will want, says the Catechism, the users, you and me, to form enlightened and correct consciences, the more easily to resist unwholesome influences. So it's important to form one's conscience, as we are doing in this class, so as to more easily resist influence from the media. And there are people who I take so much, so seriously, even youngsters commit suicide because they have not enough likes in a post, or because one of the friends has put the finger like this, unlike. Anyways, when broadcasting news, news, yeah, in the radio or even in writing, the professionals of public opinion have an obligation, says the Catechism, to serve the truth and not offend against charity in disseminating information. So one has to strive, referring the Catechism to the professionals, but in this world of ours, everybody has become a professional. Everybody can put his opinion there to thousands and thousands of people to read. Professionals should strive to respect with equal care the nature of the facts and the limits of critical judgment concerning people. They should not stoop to defamation. It's very easy for a journalist to attribute a sin to somebody without checking the facts. Even when a court has dismissed an accusation, for example, of molestation in a school, it happened recently in the north of Spain. Even when the High Court has dismissed the issue of no proofs, and this is not to be condemned, the press still, in order to damage the good name of the institution, kept saying that the teacher was at fault, that the teacher has abused the boy, but there's no proof. Inside the school, everybody says it's not possible. Outside the school, people, anyhow. Anyways, now, whenever defamation of any type takes place, especially when it is calumny or detraction, there is need to obligation, in fact, to take all possible means to restore the good name of the person that has been unjustly offended. So the same people you reached, not you, I mean, the famer, the same people they reach to defame, they have to reach again back to rectify. If it was in a newspaper that a lie was said about somebody, in the same newspaper must be published the rectification. It's not enough to say, okay, it's not true. And you tell your wife, what I wrote is not correct. No, you have to put it in the newspaper again for the same readers all over the nation to read it. All right. One can cooperate with the sins of detraction or calumny of others in many ways. I'm going to mention here 4 ways. One, being guilty of the sins of others by cooperation. How? When one likes to listen to people defaming others and enjoys what is said without protesting, or sometimes you have to listen because you are in the restaurant and the guy next door is saying nonsenses. But to listen with enjoyment. Also, one can cooperate with the sins of others when one is in charge of an enterprise and does not prevent gossiping about colleagues in the company or in the institution. When one can and does not. Also, one can cooperate with the sins of the detraction of others by failing to correct or to contradict the defamer out of different reasons, fear of standing out, or fear of being retorted, or out of negligence, out of shame. Who am I to say that my boss has defamed a colleague? I'm nobody. If I speak, I may be sacked. Well, those reasons are bad reasons, can make us guilty. Also, anyone who thoughtlessly spreads what someone has insinuated about other people, by hearsay. I heard say the other day in the train to Ibadan, I heard. Wait, don't spread what you are not sure of. Finally, we come to the section on respect for privacy. The privacy of lives of people is important to be respected. Nobody likes his own private life to be broadcast in the news. Or the good and the safety of others. I'm going to give you with the Catechism 3 reasons that call for silence about what ought not to be known, or at least for making a very discreet use of language so as to avoid. Now, the good and safety of others, says the Catechism. Respect for the privacy of others and the common good of society are sufficient reasons for being silent about what ought not to be known, or for making use of a very discreet language. You get it? Because the safety of others is more important than saying, I don't know, something that is private. You see that man? You see that man? Hey, look, I was in the hall inside the bank when he has withdrawn $500,000 naira. In that bag he has.
We have lost you.
Examples, but the common good of society oftentimes demands not to talk too much, because there is no need. Doesn't help matters. Anyways, also the Catechism says that the duty to avoid scandal often commands strict discretion. I know something wrong. Okay, you know it, but if you say it, other people are going to be scandalized. What is a scandal? Scandal is to lead others to commit a sin. Scandal is not to do something that others will be surprised. Oh, how did he do it? He is a man of God, or he is a... But they don't act on it. That's not scandal proper. A scandal is to lead others to commit a sin with one's behavior or attitude or words. Well, scandal is to be avoided. And if silence is the solution, silence. Very well. Now, what else? There's an interesting point of the Catechism, 2489, that says that no one, listen, no one is bound to reveal the truth to someone who does not have the right to know it. What? Yes. No one is bound to reveal the truth to someone who does not have the right to know the truth. So if I keep quiet before somebody who does not have the right to know the truth, I'm not offending God. Somebody knocks at my door and says, with a gun in the hand and looking like a drug dealer or addicted, is your brother there? I know my brother is in his room. But if I say yes, the truth is inside, the man is going to kill him. So does a man with a gun have the right to know whether my brother is? No. But instead, if a policeman knocks at my door, no forcefully, but showing a court guarantee, a court saying we have here from George the document authorizing us to check whether your brother is inside. Is he inside? Hard as it might be, you have to say, yep. Now, that cannot be asked to a mother. A mother will never say the truth, no matter who asks for it, because a mother is a mother, and you cannot ask a mother to right. And another thing, another point of the catechism is that the right to the communication of the truth is not unconditional. The right to communicate, you are a journalist or a communicator or whatever, a blogger, an influencer, and say, I have the right, everybody to know. No, sorry, no. You don't have the right to communicate everything. There are conditions for you to communicate the truth, especially when the truth is hard stuff. Huh? All right. So how are we doing? Because we are about to finish up. And needless to say that the secret of the sacrament of reconciliation is sacred, cannot be violated under any pretext. It says the Code of Canon Law, Canon 983, first paragraph, that the sacramental seal is inviolable. Therefore, it is a crime for a confessor in any way to betray a penitent by word or in any other manner or for any reason whatsoever. A penitent, a priest cannot, or a bishop, cannot betray a penitent, either by word or even by action. Before others, not even before the penitent himself, but anyways, there was an attempt in California not too many years ago to pass a law that would make it compulsory for priests to say in court what they have heard in the confessional when it came to the scene of abuse of minors. And there was a great discussion all over the federation, the United Federation. Well, when the Holy See helped the bishops of the United States to prepare a good answer to those who were trying to pass this law, he prepared a very nice document, 3 or 4 pages, by the Apostolic Penitentiary of the Holy See in Vatican, saying, among other things, that a priest in confession knows what he knows as God, not as man. It's true, because the one who kneels there to tell the priest his sins is talking to God, to whom he is asking for pardon, and will receive pardon from God to the priest. So the priest at that moment is God. So he is not hearing anything as a man, but as God. So he cannot talk as man, as a witness of anything in any court or in any place, because he doesn't know. And the document says, if a priest knowing something denies knowing it, is not committing anything whatsoever, because as man he doesn't know it. It's very serious. This matter is very serious. we have to be very grateful to all our priests that are ready to die rather than to disclose anything that they have heard in confession. And also be encouraged not to be shy or ashamed, because even the priest does not act on what you have said in confession. He's not going to look you on the corridor the next day with no. Even if you say, Father, I have stolen your car, says it in confession, the priest is not going to ask you, where's the key to the car? Give me the car key. No. That would be betraying the penitent with any manner, no, perhaps even by word. So no, this is a very sacred issue. It's not played with. Of course, that law was not passed in California. Thank God. All right. It looks like I have left my PowerPoint presentation. I have to go back to it. How do I do that? Is it like this? All right. Now, another type of secret that is secret but not so much are professional secrets. And in general, all natural secrets, they all must be kept. Not under the same penalties as the secret of confession, which will make the priest automatically outside the church, and only the Pope can uplift that penalty. It's a very serious matter. But also professional secrets entrusted to medical doctors, lawyers, psychologists, and also natural secrets between friends, things we tell one another to keep it secret. At times it's not necessary to say, okay, this is a secret. Don't say anybody, but I did this or I did that. No, that a friend tells you, for you alone to know that you did this. It's not for your wife. You cannot share it at night in the dinner with your wife. You know, when my friend told me that he did that. No, that's a lack of respect for the privacy of people, and even can be a sin against justice. Very well. One idea for those who are in the media, they have a lot of influence on the public opinion. So, especially since the birth of internet some decades ago, the spread of social networks and the easiness to use instant messaging. So remember that it was so easy to forward message to so many people that Facebook said, wait a minute, only 5 people. When a message is forwarded too many times, we put a limit of 5 at a time. So it's conversion if you have tried to greet people for Christmas on the night of the 25th. You forget. You have to, you cannot do it as before. Tick, 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 tick. As you tick 5 and the thing disappears, you have to go to your list again and start looking, when did you stop? Did I send it to this guy? No, I did. Anyways, what I want to say that we are all responsible for the content that we create or that we disseminate. So, especially the professionals of the media are an important, or this space of internet is an important field for defending the truth and striving to Christianize society. And with this, I have finished. The bibliography is from the Catechism and is recommended to read this homily of St. Josemaria, Christian Respect for Persons and Their Freedom, that was published in Christ is Passing By. The authors of this idea I have transmitted to you more or less successfully are Don Juan Ramón Aretio, who is the one that did the topic 37, and these two other priests, Paul Aguirre and Pablo Requena, all of them from the University of the Holy Cross, though Don Juan Ramon has left the university now, has retired. These two last priests have modified what Don Juan Ra did before. Anyways, thank you. Thank you for listening. And now, if I'm not wrong, it's time for questions if anybody has any. I see here in the chat that somebody on respect for privacy asks if a man sees the wife of his friend in a very compromising situation, does this respect for privacy come into play? In other words, can you denounce or the wife of a friend to your friend? Your wife is unfaithful to you. Is that what you're trying to say? Well, if it is your friend, if that person is your friend, his wife need not be your friend, but certainly you can enter in your friend's house and you can talk to his wife the way you talk to her husband, who is your friend. Is a relation that is no mathematical. Not all the wives of your friends are as friends of yours as their husbands. But if it's a good friend, there must be a good relation with. I'm not saying you tell her, hey, I know that you are betraying my friend. Behave. Wait. Pray, and I don't know. Find a
Father,
way.
good
Find a
evening,
way.
Father.
Telling you. Yeah.
Can I emphasize on the question? I'm actually the one who asked the question. You know,
Okay, you could tell us.
if a man sees the wife as, respect for privacy. I mean, if a woman is seen in a compromising situation, and the person who saw them is a friend of the husband, knowing fully well that if he goes to tell the husband where he saw the wife and what the wife was doing, that is going to bring a strain to the relationship. So in that aspect, I think it would be best for the man to, not tell the friend. So it's in the context that I'm asking this question, because the husband of the woman, is he entitled to know what the wife was doing at that point in time? I don't think so.
Certainly, if I were to hear that somebody is betraying his wife, I would not tell him, go and tell her.
Yeah, okay.
Because that will can lead the marriage to a complete crisis.
Okay.
The person has to stop betraying her, certainly, and must build a friendly relationship that has collapsed for him to be looking for women outside his house. So there's a lot to do, but prudence most time demands discreet language and obviously not to tell the wife, hey, you know what, I have betrayed you. Can you forgive me? The answer can be yes or not. One has to stop the betrayal. So anyways, there is not an only answer. There are husbands or wives that would tell the partner, I'm sorry, I was not faithful. And the other, because knows that the other is ready to forgive anyways. Also because he knows that the other partner knows that he has also been unfaithful. Okay, let's leave this topic. What else?
Father, can I come in? I think that what you just said, you're not somebody, you just not be concerned. If you see somebody is happening, you just keep it yourself and you move on, because it's not your business to begin to report people who are in such a situation. So I think that it's not something we should be involved in. Yes, that's my take on that. Father, thank you for your presentation. But you know, when you started, I was at a loss, because the 8th commandment says we should not bear false witness against our neighbor. I hope I'm correct with that. But when you started, I was at a loss, because it was broadened. I'm sure there's some points to that approach. You brought in the truth, which is Christ himself, you know, and then you talked about the truth. But specifically, the 8th commandment says you should not bear false witness against your neighbor. So that's one. But the other point to make is that there are so many instances, and I'm glad you covered it in your presentation, where sometimes, you know, to tell a lie is better, you know, than otherwise. You know, so in a relationship, the man tells a lie, you're running late, you were supposed to be somewhere, you branch somewhere, and then your wife asks you, you can't say, I went to see my girlfriend. You know, so except you want that marriage to, you know, to crash. You know, so there are many situations. You're a lawyer in court. Lawyers are professional, you know, they live by telling lies. And so I think, so I think that in so many instances, of course, I am comfortable with the fact that you've said we have to look at the intentions, we have to look at the consequences, and so on and so forth before we begin to. But I think that is an area, particularly in social media, where today, you know, fake news is the order of the day, and most of us who play in that space, it's a challenge, because how are you able to fact check? You know, not many, you know. So there was a post that was trending recently, yesterday, today, and they showed there was a post saying that Aja axis, you know, that there was rioting, people were going all over the place, and they were using, you know, beating cars and so on. And this is something that happened on the NSAS, not NSAS, NSAS protests or so. That's when it happened. But they put it now. And so how do you know? How are you going to cross-check? I don't know. So, but I think that, thank you for your presentation, but it's an area that is fraught with all sorts of dangers, and it's very difficult to play safe. Thank you very much.
It's good. It's good you now can work on those criteria to determine whether something is gravely offending to God or less. Yes. There are 3 people who have raised their hands, also Victor, Iloba, and Oscar. Perhaps we can attend to Victor first. Victor, what is it?
Yes, Father, thank you so much for the presentation. Just to know, if one is maybe in a joking situation, if you tell a lie as a joke, I mean, once everybody, at least everyone knows that it's a joke, and then just to
No.
Because everybody knows that it's a joke. What's the problem? There's no problem. The problem is when jokingly you say the truth, and people don't believe you because they think you are joking. The Archbishop of the Bishop of Johannesburg, those early years of the century, was saying important things by cracking jokes. When he was cracking a joke, listen, because he's about to say something very important. It was a character, Osmond. Anyways.
Yeah, like for instance, maybe your son says, give me money, and you said to him, I don't have money. And I mean, not really that you don't have money, but maybe you just want to create some humor out of it. And that's what I mean.
What you are saying is, I don't have money for you, for this journey, which is
for the purpose, yes.
You have money for food and for rent and for school fees, but not for party.
That's more like it.
All right, Oscar, what can we do for you?
Yes, Father. I have a question. It has to do with correction in love when trying to correct people in love. So I want to ask, like, when we are trying to correct someone in love, usually there's usually this emotion of maybe anger that comes with it, or the emotion of hatred, hatred for the evil act that was done. So sometimes it usually comes out as a judgmental statement, or kind of like a criticism. So how do we express this love even within the context of anger or criticism of a particular act? The expression part is really my problem. How do you
Yeah.
express it?
Look, in anger, it's better not to speak, neither to correct or even to praise. Anger is a passion that is like a light in the dashboard of the car telling you that the battery is not working and the alternator is about to, the engine, you have to stop the car. Don't continue driving. So once you have stopped the car, the anger the light is off. The anger does not play any other role than telling you there's something wrong around, perceived or real, and you have to act on it. But now, not with anger, but with prudence. So you want to correct somebody in anger, you wait for the next day.
Okay.
Or wait for 2 hours.
Okay,
Or
and
wait for 3 days,
down.
depends how much the anger is. And then you sit with the person, absolutely in peace of mind, and say, my darling, 3 days ago, you said this, and I don't think you should have, or whatever it is, but
Okay.
with peace.
Oh,
All right?
okay.
Okay. Well, according to Father Boniface, I should finish at 6:15. It's 6:18. Unless there is any other question, we can play the Hail Mary, Abby? All right, very good. Prayer Hail Mary. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb, Jesus.
Holy Mary,
Mother of
Mother of
God,
God,
pray
pray
for
for
us
us
sinners,
sinners,
now
now
and
and
at
at
the
the
hour of
hour of our
our
death.
death.
Amen.
Saint Paul,
Pray for us.
Saint Gabriel,
Pray
pray
for
for us. Holy Mary, our hope, seat of wisdom, pray for us.
us. Pray for us.
Thank you for your attention.
Thank you
and,
so much,
see
Father.
Thank you for your
Father. Thank you,
presentation.
Father.
Bye,
Thank
good
you,
evening.
Father.
God bless
Thank
you.
you very much, Father.
God bless
And
you.
good night.
Thank you, Father.